So on the Tiger book, you did not have Tiger's approval. You did not have access to him, but you had access,
Right.
you ended up gaining access to all the people around him that made the difference enough that you got all the stories that created this amazing book. So in the situation of LeBron, did you know you were going to get access? How did that all work?
So in biographies, unless it's like in the Steve Young case, I think it's relevant to bring that up. Steve hired me. Like
Mm,
he commissioned me. He paid me to be his writer, to write his biography. That's an autobiography, and he controls it. He owns it. Like he literally owns the copyright. And I wrote that in his voice, first person.
as a ghostwriter, basically.
Not even. He put my name on the cover. So
Oh, he did.
he told, yeah, he told the world who his writer was. And that's the kind of guy Steve is. That's what he did, and it's great. So I wasn't a ghostwriter, but I did the same thing that a ghostwriter does, which is write in the subject's voice and from their perspective. It's their vision of the world. Um, a traditional biography, you don't do that. Like Tiger doesn't commission me, he doesn't pay me, he doesn't have editorial control. Neither did LeBron.
Mhm.
And those biographies, in my opinion, um, are really, really good because they are subjective. And I'm not saying Steve's wasn't subjective. Obviously, if Tiger or LeBron ever decides to do a full-blown autobiography where they're really literally willing to go where Andre Agassi went when he wrote Open, those would be incredible books. But most people are not willing to do what Steve Young and Andre Agassi did. When Steve wanted to hire me, I told him, I said, I'd love to do this, but we need to do it like Agassi did with
Mm.
J.R. Moringer. Like you got to go the distance. You got to open your soul. And if you're willing to do that, talk about anything and be honest about it, be unafraid, then this is going to be a fantastic book. Most celebrities, star athletes, musicians, actors, they have a really hard time doing that. And
Mm.
so that's why the objective biography told from the way we did Tiger and LeBron is usually better. And especially like I would bring up the LeBron one because some people were critical of that book because it's inspiring. And they're like, well, where's all the dirt? And I'm like, why do you have that to have a good book? Like,
Mhm.
this is a great story about an American. It's a great American story. This is something that could only happen in America. And
Yeah.
I found it inspiring and I wrote what I saw. So, you know,
Well, then that brings me to my next question. Like, do you go in thinking that it's going to be about one thing? And then as you gain access or you're hearing stories, the book becomes about something else. Like with the dynasty, I know this was your plan, but you would have
sure.
maybe thought this was going to be about Tom Brady. And then all of a sudden you see this is a love story. This is about an underdog. This is whatever it becomes for you in all
Yeah.
these situations.
So I never go in with preconceptions about what the story is going to be. I mean, obviously, if your publisher says, "How about LeBron?" What he's asking you is, "What do you think about writing the definitive biography of LeBron James?" Well, you know what that is.
Mhm.
That okay, but what you're going to find in the course of researching that life that's a mystery to me because I don't know.
Mhm.
And I didn't know about the Patriots. I'd never covered that team. I'd never been around them. I didn't know Tom. I didn't know Bill Belichick. I didn't know Robert Kraft. I didn't know any of those guys. So
Mhm.
to go into it saying, "Oh, I know what the story is," no, opposite. I go in like a kid in a candy store who wants to taste everything that's on the shelf, all the different colors. I want to open every jar, pull that out, taste that, go to the next one, and at the end, figure out which are the ones that the audience, the reader, really needs to taste themselves. And going in that with lives like Tigers, LeBron's, the Belichick, Brady, Kraft, they're public figures. Like
Yeah.
the world knows about them. That's why you can get those big book contracts. Your job as a biographer, though, is to tell the world all the things they don't know.
Mhm.
Like it's the stuff you don't see when you're watching the Masters on CBS or watching the NBA Finals on ABC or watching Tom Brady give a press conference after a football game. None of those things are revelatory, right? Because
Mhm.
everybody got to see them.
Yeah.
You got to go find the things, and because read these books, they have to be laced with things that you didn't know.
Right.